Hey everybody, welcome back for war number 4 of season 27. We are at week 2. I'm fighting for the Alliance SAS, and for this war we are matched up against the Alliance RÍSEN. Took a quick look at their Alliance info, and it appears that they finished in Platinum 1 last season. However, with the current state of war and the low margin for error across the board, anybody can beat anybody depending on their performance. So it's up to us to play sharp. Hopefully grab the W here. For this war, we have 4 fights. We are starting on path 4. We have a Call Obsidian with steady build-up fury running on fumes. That's a super straightforward fight, nothing to worry about there. Then we head off to path 7. We have 2 kind of sketchy fights. We got a thing on Spite and Rise to Power, and then we have a Domino on Aspect of Evolution and Kinetic Transference. Always hate fighting Dominoes regardless of where she's placed. And then we have some main boss action where we are taking on a Magneto boss. He is a high ground defender. This is the team we are bringing in. We're bringing in Shang-Chi. For this war, he is unawakened. He is rank 3, level 45, sig level 0. Obviously, he's going to take on that first fight called Obsidian and the thing on path 7. Then we're bringing in Warlock specifically to knock out that Domino on path 7. And Symbiote Supreme is getting the call to fight the Magneto boss. He was my first rank 3. He's at sig level 200. Super pumped to dust him off and bringing him into war, especially for some main boss action. Super pumped. So here's the first fight. Nothing much to worry about. This is node 1, steady build up fury running on fumes. Not much of an interaction with Call Obsidian that would make him a tough defender here. So I'm going to use Shang-Chi. My first priority, I'll just get the Cleanse and Strike off, which is a medium light medium combo. Maybe just to shrug off the running on fumes debuffs. But to be honest, at the end of the day, it's also free willpower healing, so I don't mind if 1 or 2 of them get stuck on me. So this is a good kind of rhythm fight just to kind of get in the groove with Shang-Chi, because he is going to take the next fight later on in the war. So we get the 4 cleanse passives. Pretty good start. Get the stun strike. Then we're unblockable for a little bit. And I think we're going to parry and reset our strikes just to gain a few more chi charges. And I think I'm likely to throw off the special 2. I probably should have charged a few more chi charges before throwing this off, but it does a pretty good chunk of damage there. As you see, it hits pretty hard. Doesn't do enough to KO him, but it's all good. We're in a good position here. We just have to bait out 1 more special 2, and then we're likely to finish him with a combo and a special 1, or just with the combo. But both of Call Obsidian's specials are really easy to dodge. No worries. We extend our combo with the stun strike. And there we go. He goes down without a sweat. Super smooth Shang-Chi fight. And there's our first fight down. That's it for section 1. We hop over to section 2, where we are on path 7. This is node 33, Spite and Rise to Power. This is a new iteration for this. It used to be powerful from afar, but now we have Rise to Power. And I took this node last or 2 wars ago with the Weapon X, but here we have a thing. My first priority is to get the disarming strike off to apply the slow. Then my plan is to use the pinpoint strike, medium, light, medium, and then get my heavy to reset the strikes, just to make sure I always have that uptime with the slow debuff. And also for me to keep in mind that I can slow while he's unstoppable. It's going to cancel it. It's very similar to She-Hulk. But what I don't realize here, and what I completely overlooked, this is completely on me, is the interaction between the heavies and the Spite node. So as you can see, when I heavy, I gain precision buffs, which means that if I keep up my original game plan, he is going to be constantly gaining power for the entirety of the fight. So at this point, I'm just trying to buy time and in the back of my head figure out a new plan while I'm kind of stuck in this cycle of just baiting special 2s or special 1s if I can, while trying to stay mindful of the slow debuff. And so far it's going okay. I'm able to kind of bait his special 2. I haven't gotten into any trouble with the unstoppable buffs that he gains once he gets over 15 rock stacks. But I know that I need to figure out a plan B, because it's not likely that I'm able to survive the whole fight kind of living on the edge here. I do have an invulnerability boost because I was able to take both these fights in a row, and also I wasn't quite sure how this matchup would play out, so would rather play it safe than sorry. So I do know that I have a safety net to rely on. I just need to really zone in on the plan B here. So as you can see, he's constantly gaining power. It's pretty much a game of always baiting his special 2. We're just still doing a pretty good job of sticking on the slow debuffs, but as you can see here, We miss a few windows to bait, and it's just getting closer. He's getting closer and closer to that third bar of power, and I am really worried that he's going to throw a special 3, and him throwing the heavy pretty much confirms that I'm going to have to eat a special 3 here. So I know that I think I have a slow debuff on. I'm going to be close to the wall, so the threat here is him being unblockable. So I need to get an intercept off. That'll buy me some time to kind of reevaluate what I need to do moving forward. There we go, we get that intercept. He is unblockable for a little bit. I'm going to throw the special 2 just to buy time, and there's the indestructible coming in through clutch. So I've eaten the special 3, I've eaten 2 hits off a combo. I inflict a slow debuff through the unstoppable buff, and we're actually okay here. We're able to kind of close out the fight. So that was super sketchy, but I was really happy with the way that we kind of played it slow, and we were kind of able to shimmy our way with the plan B. So on to the third fight here. We still have the invuln boost. We have a domino on node 43 aspect of Evo. Kinetic transference, pretty nasty combo for most champs. Throw on a domino here. I gotta parry her first medium. I'll back off when she's lucky because she can evade. And I'm throwing on a 200% tech power boost. I don't want to be in this fight for very long. The longer I'm in this fight, the longer I give her a chance to kind of tick me down with the crit failure damage. One of the worst mechanics in the game. I hate it. But we're off to a pretty good start. Get a few combos in. We are trying to build up our infections, and there we go. It looks like the defender is running willpower, so that is a big relief for us. That makes this fight significantly easier. As you can see, we've got a pretty good handle on her power, and we're having no issue keeping up the infections, as we have 2, and we're close to landing a 3rd. So it looks like we're constantly going to have 1 or 2 infections up, and you can see I back off for a little bit as she's lucky, and I'm going to throw the special 2, gain a decent amount of power back, and this fight's going pretty smoothly, pretty much how we expected it to go. And that got really sketchy there. Did not realize she was lucky. So, ironically, we were super lucky there to avoid getting hit and getting comboed into oblivion. And when you get comboed with domino, you never know what's going to happen. Things can go wrong. I am in danger here of getting cornered. I don't really want to be stuck against the wall. So I got to find a way to gain space here. She's not lucky. So a special 2 is going to do a good job of, 1, draining her power because we have a bunch of passives. Infection passes on her, and also gaining space. But looking at my health, goodness gracious, that crit failure damage has ticked me down for over halfway. I'm grateful that I don't need Warlock for another fight this war, so I'm not too worried about that. I just want to escape this fight with the full attack bonus, and we're getting to the red zone here. That was kind of sketchy. I probably shouldn't have thrown it, simply because she had her lucky passive, but we get through. All good. Warlock is beat up by the end of this, but nothing to worry about. That's 3 fights. That's 3 fights down, all with the full attack bonuses. And this is later on in the war. We are at about midnight here, and the Magneto boss is unlocked, unlinked. Node 52, stun immunity, true strike and adaptive. Just your basic main boss fight. He is a high ground defender, so I do have to keep an eye on his altitude charges. Got to make sure that I don't let them get out of hand, because that block damage can get pretty intense the longer the fight goes on. Mystic Dispersion is going to be at level 3. I want to try and sticking with that sweet spot of special 2s and chaining those together. And that way it's going to allow me to special intercept. And because of the resistor node and Mystic Dispersion, I'm going to be able to gain a bunch of my power back. And you're going to see this fight is actually pretty fun. The plan here is to just bounce as many special 2s as I can without getting cornered, and managing the unstoppable buff that he gets while throwing heavy. So we get off to a good start. Got a few intercepts just to get the fight rolling, get a few staggers on, and now it's just a case of keeping an eye on the passives and buffs that he has. 1, I need to make sure that I always have a stagger on when I'm close and baiting heavies. And then 2, I also need to keep an eye on the altitude charges just to make sure they don't get out of hand and I don't end up taking full combos into the block when he has a bunch of altitude charges. But so far, we're off to a pretty good start. We get to our special 3, we set to bait out a special 1, then we're going to throw it, and hopefully this sets us up for the rhythm of the fight. There's some pretty good interactions with the resistor, the resistance buffs from the adaptive node, so that's going to constantly fuel our Mystic Dispersion. And that's going to allow us to eventually get into a point where we're able to almost spam special 2s. So here we go. We dash back. We're gonna be patient here. We're not close to the wall. So as he dashes, I'll dash back and fire a special. Get an intercept there. And the power steal is definitely helping us, allowing us to push him back to the wall and giving us easy access to another special 2. So at this point, we're feeling like we're in control of the fight here. We've taken very little chip damage. We're just under 2 minutes into the fight, and we've gotten a pretty good chunk of health off of him. And so far, we haven't seen anything that's making us worried or would need to pivot with our game plan. So we're close to a special 2 here. Going to special intercept again. I do have max points in despair, just knowing that eventually I'm going to apply a bunch of bleeds on him, and I'm assuming that the defender is running points and coagulate, making him 100% resistant to bleed debuffs, which means a ton of willpower healing. So Mystic Dispersion at level 3 just to mitigate the healing as much as possible, just to shorten the fight. But we're in a really good spot here. As you can see, we're keeping him against the wall. Our power gain is really nice. We haven't been pushed to a special 3, and that's good. Just need to make sure that I'm being really clean with either special intercepting or intercepting him if I feel confident with the rhythm. But it's pretty much the same thing. We're just cycling special 2s over and over again, and we're not really paying attention to what phase we're in. We're kind of just letting the timer cycle through. Just as long as we're hitting him with specials and controlling our space, there's really not much to worry about. As you can see, just take a look at his altitude charges. I think for a little bit he was at 2, which does mean that there is a little bit of block damage just through the block, but not much to worry about. We do end up getting pushed to a special 3 here, but that's alright. We are over 80% health, and we are at the last quarter of the fight. So one more special 2, maybe 2 more special 2s, and we have this fight on lock. You can take a look here. He's not really taking any bleed damage from the bleed debuffs, and he is healing a little bit for only 57. Not too bad, not enough to make me worried, but we are in the red zone here, and we are feeling good. Gonna finish a combo, fire off a special 2, and that's enough to finish him. So just over 100 hits, 4-minute fight, definitely on the longer side, but I felt like I was in control there, and I was really glad with the execution. So super pumped to get out of that fight. We only had 4 fights, but always good to get through them cleanly with all the attack bonuses. And we ended up grabbing the donut for the first time this season with our BG, both BG3 and I think BG1. We ended up winning this war, I think it was 8-2, something like that. We ended the war with 2 deaths overall as an alliance, so that's a really good performance, especially coming off a few rough ones where we definitely thought we could play better. So it's really good to kind of turn the corner for week 2, and hopefully we can kind of build off this momentum. So that's the end of War 4. Thanks for sticking around. Good luck with your July 4th openings if you are partaking in that, and we will catch you for War 5. Thanks for stopping by.